How about that? Can y'all hear me now? I just told y'all what the new product launch is and y'all didn't even hear it. And now they'll only let me say it once. They'll only let me say it once. I'm just kidding. That was terrible. That was a mean trick, wasn't it? Okay.
Liar.
What?
You're a liar.
I can't say it twice. I already said it once. They limited us to saying it one time. And I was muted. Sorry. No, I was just actually I was telling you what I was doing right before, and it's really doesn't matter. It's been a crazy busy week in a good way. This is like the kind of busy I like to be. I wanted to say like one thing because we're going to watch Monday Motivation. But before we do, I just put a script in the butterfly group, and I can stick it in the other group if we need to. Because I would like for you, if you're a multitasker like I am, during the Monday Motivation, if you'd like to reach out to anybody who has messaged you and not followed through, like anybody you need to follow up with because of the social media challenge, and I know there is a lot going on because of the social media challenge. So those of you who have been keeping a list of people who have commented on your stories, you have reached out to, but then they, kind of left it hanging or whatever, well, then you're going to want to use the script that I just put in the butterfly group, and I'll read it to you real quick. It's just a couple sentences. I was just following up with somebody too. Sorry. I just said to message anyone you sent samples to, start a chat, or anyone who responded in social media challenge so far. Invite them to hop in the Summer Slim Down challenge that we're going to be doing starting the 22nd. It's really imperative that we go ahead and get that rocking and rolling so that they can get their products in and not feel too behind. So this is not one of those things where we're going to add, 150 people the day of or the day before, because that doesn't give them time to order the products for the challenge. They'd be too far behind. So hope that lights a little fire under your tail end. And it's just going to say, hey, I'm going to participate in a Summer Slim Down. I'd love for you to do it with me. It'd be using the same products you messaged me about, if that's true, depending on the conversation. I'm just giving you an example. It says, there's even a discount. I can add you to the group ahead of time to see if you want to participate. Everything always has a money back guarantee too. What do you think? Okay. So that would be a great way. You can word it however you want to, but for those of you who really like to have at least a skeleton or the bones to work with, that should be helpful for you to reach out if you want to multitask during the Monday Motivation. We have convention coming up on Friday. Friday evening is really the official start of it, and it lasts Saturday during the day. I think probably everyone that's on this call right now, not listening to it on a Zoom or a video later, if you're on here live, you guys look like a group that probably already knows that convention is Friday and that Saturday all day long, on and off. I'm excited. I want to tell you something really quick that crossed my mind today about a convention streaming online. Every year when we do convention, the excitement of convention is we get to go somewhere fun, but also that's a week, almost an entire week between travel schedules, packing, flying, convention, flying home, and getting your act back together of lost work time. Now, it's worth it for the momentum that creates because of the excitement, but you can subtract packing, you can subtract flying, you can subtract the money that you spent, and you could apply that to, or you would have spent, I guess, on a hotel and all the stuff of Nashville. And you can literally funnel that money into some extra samples or whatever you want to do to pour into your business. And the lost time, especially right now, because this momentum season, I was kind of thinking, man, if we had had convention right now, it would have been fun. It would have been all the things, but it wouldn't have been streamed, and we wouldn't have been able to have, do you understand the difference between downtime in between sessions when you're sitting on your couch and you have these ideas and you're not having to run back to your room to pee and change clothes, and you can actually implement. You can tell I put a lot of thought into this today. I'm really practicing gratitude right now. Like, I'm making it intentional, and I'll talk about that at the end of this call. But I was like, I really wanted to go to Nashville, but how can I flip that? And as I flipped it in my head, I was like getting chills for thinking, because of thinking about, oh yeah, like this is not gonna, every year you can see here you go, June, it's such an incredible month. It's an incredible summer month. All the things, summer slim down, all the things, and you go, convention. I gotta get everybody going back again. It's like you kind of hit a stall because everybody has paused to learn the things. Well, you can pause, you can learn the things, and then when there is a gap, you can be texting people, learning new things from new trainers, new motivational speakers. You can implement it immediately. And the math on implementing something immediately is the difference between using what you learned ever and not. 80% of what you learn in a conference setting, if you don't implement it within the first week, your hippocampus of your brain shreds it. It's like, yeah, she didn't need that, shred it. And so I'm not saying you can't ever access it again if somebody brings it up, but if it's not at the forefront of your brain, I learned this in a John Maxwell training. They were calling it in between each speaker at a John Maxwell training. They had you literally sit and turn and speak to the person next to you about what you just learned. Explain it back to them in layman's terms. My favorite part of this was this. Okay. Then they said, my favorite part of it was this, because just by actually saying it out loud, it makes an impact that tells your brain not to shred it. So I encourage you, since this will be the last time I talk to you before convention, I encourage you to stream convention with a paper and pen and a mind and heart, and I wanted you to visualize your head like a funnel. All this information that's going to go in, I want you to grab it, pull it down, keep it in, and begin to implement it in between sessions. Rather than, like I said, rather than running back to your hotel room and going to a winter's dinner and thinking, I hope I brought my earrings, and all the things that you think as a woman. I mean, guys probably don't think they're all that, but instead of your brain being on all the things about like a vacation or whatever, you can actually immediately, if they do a texting challenge, I don't know what they're doing, but they do a texting challenge, you can immediately pick up your phone and do it right there. Do it right then. Follow up with people in between each speaker, all of that. And nobody's going to be looking at you for being on your phone, girl, because you're all by yourself, or it's just you and your bestie, or it's just a small group that is gathered, or whatever all of you have planned for convention. But for now, until convention gets here, let's focus on what's going to happen the minute we get back from convention, like get back to normal, right? We're going to be, 19th, 20th, on the 22nd, we're starting the weight loss, the slim down, trim down, summer slim down challenge. And it's going to be a 21-day challenge. So you're going to have people, first of all, they're going to be qualified because they're going to have to get some sort of welcome pack. I love the fact that they're letting us have points immediately. We're seeing lots of great momentum and rank advancements because of that. I promised myself I wasn't going to talk more than 10 minutes, and I'm at my 10-minute limit before we watch our Monday motivation. And we're going to jump on over to that right now. I've got it set up. Super proud of myself today. Can y'all tell? I'm talking like I'm proud of myself because I am. Got it all set up and ready to go and sharing screen with you guys. Can you see it? Erin, I'm looking at you. Can you see the Monday motivation? Okay, I'm going to move this. Did that move it where you can see the words now? Can you see the words on the right? Okay. Now I just got to get it to where I can hit the play. Here we go. Ready to go.
really think we're going to have many more trainings on this to come because there's so much to cover. But we are excited. April is taking time out of her busy schedule and just being able to join us. So first off, just wanted to remind everyone that we do have ways for you to get a recording to this call, as well as other Motivation Mondays or other webinars that we have ongoing. So you can join the Train Me text by texting Plexus, which is 753-987 to, I'm sorry, texting Train Me to Plexus, which is 753-987. And by doing so, you'll get reminders to future webinars, as well as recording links to our past webinars. You'll also be able to receive a recording through our Zoom email that will go out tomorrow. And the third way to access all of the great trainings we have is through your virtual office, where you can go to your training center and access the Ambassador Training Calendar. You'll also notice on the dashboard of your virtual office that there is a big red tile in the middle of your dashboard, and that's the direct link to access the calendar. So we have a lot of different ways for you to receive this incredible training. So what we'd like to do is we'll go ahead and we'll invite April to join us for this call. And April, if you can just take a few minutes to share how you got started with Plexus, and then yeah, we'll go into your topic as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with y'all tonight. It is 7 o'clock here on the East Coast. So I actually kicked out my kids and my husband and my dogs, and I said, go for a ride so I can do this training for y'all. So as you can see on the left-hand side is my before Plexus. I was a tired mom. I was struggling. After my first son was born, I had a lot of intense mood swings, I guess we can say. I had a really hard time bonding with him, and I did not feel well. I had lots of crazy sugar cravings. I didn't sleep. And the list could go on and on. At that time, we're a military family, so we were living in Florida, and I had just got done with my master's degree and was going to work as a speech therapist. So I loved my job, and I knew I had a lot of debt to pay off with grad school loans and everything. So I went to work, and when I would pick up my son, I had one at the time. When I would pick him up from the sitter, she would say, you know, he did this, this, and this today. And to me, I would think, oh my goodness, I missed out on moments. And so I just honestly didn't know there was anything else out there that I could do while still being with my kids. And so my sweet friend Tina reached out to me about Plexus. As you can see, the shirt that I had on, that was one of my very first pink drinks that I drank. And it said, have faith. And that's what I needed to do. I just needed to say yes to this opportunity. And I knew deep down inside that this was going to be amazing. So I jumped all in. And a few months later, I got pregnant with my second son and continued to work as a speech therapist. I saw little ones age 0 to 3, and I loved it. But I missed out on my son and moments with him. And so I'm not sure if you guys heard of the hurricane that hit Florida, but it was one of the biggest and strongest hurricanes to ever hit the United States. Well, that happened to hit my hometown, so that meant I was out of work. Basically, the city was wiped out. Many of my clients fled to go live with their families, and lo and behold, the military basically told us, all right, y'all are moving to the East Coast. So in that time, there was a lot of panic. I wasn't really sure what to do, but I knew that I had Plexus. And when I jumped in with Plexus, I basically started sharing about the products because I didn't want to budget for them. And by about week 3, my husband was stealing my products because I was feeling really good. So I said, okay, I'm not going to budget for our products. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. But I basically kind of treated it like a hobby. So after the hurricane, we moved to the East Coast. And I basically felt great all throughout pregnancy thanks to Plexus. Some of my midwives actually said, oh, she's the Plexus lady. Like they knew that everything was great with the pregnancy because of Plexus. So that was a huge blessing. And basically during that time, my husband and I decided that I would go ahead and just kind of experience stay-at-home mom life for a little bit. I had interviews lined up for after my pregnancy, and I was planning on going back to the schools to work. Well, after my pregnancy, I just felt fantastic. I was able to bond with baby. My husband literally said to me, this is just black and white from the first time around. So thanks to Plexus, I decided I'm not going to go do those interviews. I'm going to go all in. And that was a year ago, almost to this date, where I was a senior gold and I drew my line in the sand and I said, I'm going all in. And then, just ranked up emerald. Also, during the last 2 years with Plexus, my husband and I have paid off $75,000 worth of debt. So it's just been an incredible journey. You can see that we like to travel as a family, and I am able to be with my boys. So that's a little bit about my story. So let's go ahead and let's talk about social media, right? We want to talk about, first of all, how are we going to get those followers? And then how are we going to turn them into ambassadors? So the fun thing is that you choose who you want to follow you, right? So you need to decide who is it that you want to attract? What kind of qualities are you looking for in people? One thing we love about Plexus is that we get to pick who we work for or who we work with. And so some of the qualities I think of, and these might be different than what you guys think of, and you really should, if you haven't written down a list of qualities, you should definitely do it. But I know that they need to have integrity. I really want them to be coachable. Are they going to take what I'm telling them and go and do it themselves? Do they have a work ethic? We know that Plexus isn't just a lottery ticket. It takes work. Are they willing to learn? Do they have a positive attitude? And are they intelligent? Are they going to be able to make this business work, right? It is a business. And then do they like connecting with people? And then here's the kicker, y'all. Do you like them? Do you like the people who you're attracting? If you don't, then you probably need to do a bit of personal growth yourself, right? So you can be attracting the people that you're looking for. And also you do choose who you attract. Your social media will choose for you, and I'll share a bit more about that. But basically, the thing is, you can make a few tweaks when it comes to your social media. So we're going to talk about that tonight, but we're going to look to attract and repel people when it comes to social media. So how do you attract using social media? Well, first of all, you have to use it, right? You have to show up consistently. And so here's the fun thing. If we're posting consistently throughout the day and we're utilizing social media, that means at night, when our friends who live halfway around the world, or our friends who are working night shift, or maybe we just have some night owls, when they're up at night, guess what? Our business is open, right? Our business on social media is open 24/7. So it's really amazing. If you're utilizing it, you could be sleeping at night and someone can decide, they see a post that you posted and they're like, hey, I need this Plexus thing, right? So you have to show up consistently multiple times a day. And then basically, we want people to wonder, okay, what is April going to post next? What is she going to share next, right? We want them to watch our page. And how do we do that? Basically by our branding. So what exactly is branding? It's how you market your skills while adding value. That's it. That's what your social media page should be doing. So again, we're going to both attract and repel people, and that's normal. We're not looking to attract every single person, right? We're looking to attract business builders. We're looking to attract people who want to take the products. And we're also looking to attract people who just want to cheer us on with this journey. So the next thing we need to do is we need to post, right? If we're not posting, people aren't watching our page. And so you need to vary what you're posting about. And there should be one of 3 reasons why you're going to make a post. So we're not just throwing up these random posts. We're literally going to think, am I doing one of these 3 things? Am I providing entertainment is the first one. Am I educating, or am I adding value? That's it, Okay, so when you're posting, you should be doing one of those three things. And if you're saying, well, I don't know how to add value, what am I adding value about? Well, your value is going to look different than my value. But basically, you think about the things you're passionate about. For me, it is recipes, it's cooking, it's baking, it's my boys, it's military life, traveling. So it's basically whatever you could talk about all day long, right? I'm sure there's many people on tonight who are like, oh my gosh, if I have to talk about recipes, count me out. And that's okay. That's just not something you're passionate about. So when you want to add value, it has to be something that you're excited about, something that you love. And then also call your people to action on your page. Ask them to interact, right? Maybe post something like 2 date night outfits and you're like, hey y'all, I'm going out on a date with my husband. Should I wear this outfit or should I wear this outfit? People want to be able to post their opinions, right? But we have to keep in mind when it comes to our page, we want to keep it positive. So I'm thinking of like politics, controversial topics, anything that's going to bring about maybe negative or debating on your page, you have to be really careful. And the reason being, when people see my page, I want them to think, wow, this is a breath of fresh air. Look at all the positivity she's sharing, or look at all these things she's sharing, right? And that's really going to turn people on to Plexus, is just who we are, right? So try to stay away from the negative things. And then also we want to showcase ourselves, right? This is so, so important when it comes to your page, because it's just that, it's your page. It's no one else's page. So that's awesome that maybe you're showing your kids, you're showing scenery, you're showing pictures of the slim and active bags. Well, what do they want to see? They want to see you, right? So you need to be in the picture, and it's going to sell so much faster and quicker, and people are going to follow you more if they can actually see that you're a real person, right? And basically what you're saying to people is, jump in with me. Look what I'm doing, jump in with me. And a lot of times people will say, well, gosh, I just don't look all put together on a daily basis. Well, here's the thing, let's work smarter, not harder, right? So on days where you feel like you're looking a bit more professional, maybe you have makeup on or you're out of your yoga pants, go ahead and mix up your slim, mix up your active, and put on a few cute tops and take different pictures that you can utilize the next month or two. We don't have to work harder, we can do it smarter. And then the next thing is, y'all, is that we want to be authentic, right? Stop pretending to be your upline or your sidelines or your best friend. It's really, really important that you're yourself. And if you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, gosh, I just don't like who that is, or I feel so negative all the time, whatever it is, guess what? You can do personal growth and you can grow into someone else and tap into your fullest potential, right? So the next thing we're going to do when it comes to getting that following on our page is we're going to storytell. A lot of you guys have probably heard about storytelling, but basically you're going to share what has happened in the picture. You're going to try to tap into people's emotions, right? You want them to feel how you felt when you took the picture. And a lot of times these posts take a while to write. They take a bit of time and sitting down and actually writing them, but these are the posts I find that get the most interaction. And it's just because you're being vulnerable, you're being open, you're sharing details about, whatever happened, and you're trying to help other people relate with it. And so if you feel like, gosh, I'm not good at storytelling, that's okay. I wasn't either. What I did is I followed people who were really good at it. And that's how I got good, and I just practiced it. And it's still a work in progress. But if you feel like, it's just not your strength, that's okay. Go ahead and follow people who are really good at it. And then also use graphics, right? Pictures speak 1,000 words when it comes to your Facebook page. And like I said, you want to use your own picture as much as you can. And also, filters are free. They can be our really good friend. We like bright, pretty pictures to stop the scroll when people are quickly scrolling on their lunch breaks, right? And also, like I said, are you more willing to look at a picture of someone holding a cute pink drink or that bag of Slim that's sitting on your counter or wherever it might be in your house? So it's really important that you are in the pictures. And then go ahead and stop puking Plexus on people, right? That is going to quickly turn someone off. If you are posting multiple times a day about Plexus and you're not necessarily adding value, that's going to cause people to unfollow you, right? So one really good Plexus post a day is great. That's all you really need to show people. And if you're doing a great job of integrating it into your daily life, they're going to know that you're part of Plexus, that you love your Plexus products, you love your Plexus business. And so a lot of times just one post is all you need. And if you vary it between, the business versus the products versus testimonies versus events, that is really good. Because then people get to kind of see all different avenues of Plexus and what it has to offer. And if you feel like I'm just not getting any traffic on my page, I'm only getting my Plexus friends boosting, well, here's what you're doing wrong. Are you ready? It's actually something really simple. You're not adding enough value, right? So if you're not adding enough value, I just shared with you how you can fix that. So as you're adding more and more and more value to your network, you're going to see more and more and more engagement. So adding value is so important when it comes to this business. Also, we're going to do live videos. And this is probably scary to a lot of you. Some of you probably just checked out and said, I'm jumping off this call. She just said live videos. But here's the thing. I'm not asking you to do 25, 35-minute lives. Literally, they say the lives that get the most traffic on Facebook are between 2 to 5 minutes long. That's it. And during those lives, you're just adding value. You're talking about what you're excited about, what you're passionate about. So also in those lives, you can interact with your people. You can say hi, you can ask them questions. And this just helps to indirectly create rapport with your people. And you'll notice that more and more people will jump on with you as you're consistent with them. And then also, I find that if you use a catchy title, like if I'm going to post about active, instead of saying Plexus Active is my favorite, I could say something like how this boy mama is going to make it through my Monday, right? So I feel like more moms are going to jump on saying, wait, what is she doing? I feel the same way on this Monday versus, oh, it's another Plexus live. So really vary what you're titling your lives, and then go ahead and utilize stories. Those are really important, and they're growing faster than your news feed is. Also, you can see who watched them, and if you really analyze who's watching them, you're going to see a pattern, and those are the people I'm reaching out to because they've already created rapport by themselves by watching your stories. They're saying, hey, I'm interested in your life, right? And also, you know that when you click on, let's say you're clicking on your best friend Heather's story, and you know how it scrolls and scrolls and scrolls and scrolls, and oh my goodness, all of a sudden they're on April's stories and they've been accidentally exposed to Plexus. So you just never know what stories can do. And again, you're going to use all the features. There's polls, there's questions, there's videos, photos, and you're going to show up consistently. And you're going to add value, and then you're also going to share about your life and Plexus all in one. And I find that usually 10 to 12 stories is about max of where people will keep watching. Like if you think about the ones where you click on and it's like dot, 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 and there's so many dots, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so overwhelming. I don't have time to watch all those stories. A lot of times people just swipe by. So keep in mind how many stories you are adding on a daily basis. So basically now we're going to talk about how we can bridge that gap. So we've talked about how do we get those followers, who are we looking for, what are we doing, and now we're going to talk about bridging that gap, right? So first of all, we are going to build rapport. This is so, so important. We are basically based off of relationships. And so you need to show others that you care and you want to build a relationship with them. And so you need to let them see your personality, connect with them. And here's the kicker, y'all. You can't just like and love and do that new like hug sort of thing. You can't just do those when it comes to social media. You have to be commenting, you have to be asking them questions, complimenting them, be genuine when you do it, but you'll see that you'll quickly get more engagement on your posts when you're engaging with others. They're gonna watch your page. And then go ahead and figure out, how can you bridge that gap between you and your new friend? Are you both military moms, military wives? Do you both like going out on the water on the weekends? Do you both, what is it? Are you both coworkers? Maybe you work somewhere outside. So just figure out how you can bridge that gap and then go ahead and build that relationship. Build the trust with them. You do need that connecting piece to just say, hey, I've even said, hey, we both live on the East Coast. That's so awesome. You know, just little things that you can build that relationship with to start connecting. And then basically we're gonna look for their pages, or we're gonna watch their pages, and we're gonna look for their pain points. A lot of people are sharing what their pain points are. Either it's something they're commenting on their posts about, or they're writing about. Maybe it's a mom that's saying, oh my goodness, I'm gonna miss my baby after maternity leave. Or maybe it's another person saying, I am just so exhausted. Or, oh, here's another weekend, it just flew by, I'm off to the office again. If you're watching their page, you're gonna see what their pain points are. And it's not always health, it's not always financial, it can be both, right? And we have the solutions to both. Did you guys know that more people go to bed at night worried about their health and their finances? And I'm telling you, there's people out there like myself who didn't necessarily broadcast it to all of Facebook or Instagram that I was struggling. I was a struggling mom and wife, and I didn't broadcast that. But there are a lot of people that do broadcast it. And so really watch and see what are their pain points, because we have a solution, right? And then here's the kicker, y'all. You have to reach out to them. You have to send that initial message to bridge the gap. And so that means we're gonna start by planting a seed, and we're gonna say, hey, this is what I've been up to, connect with them, and then go ahead and end in a question. And just share what's in it for them. And a lot of times I find if I'm doing voice clips, they get to hear my excitement, they get to hear my voice. And so basically you want to vary how you're first reaching out to people, depending if they're in your cold market or your warm market, right? Someone you're not so acquainted with versus someone that you are very acquainted with. That's probably someone you see on a daily basis. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of template ideas. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to connect. So you're going to say something like, hi, Amanda, I hope your Monday is off to a good start. How was your weekend? Let them know that you care about them. We rented a boat and spent time on the water. That's a true story. When I wrote these slides, we actually did that. And you can say, I'm not sure we had the chance to connect yet. So I wanted to reach out and say, hi, I'm a military wife, a boy mom, and I love sharing health and happiness with others. And then you're gonna end in a question. Curious to know, have you heard of Plexus before? That, my friends, is not salesy at all. You are literally just asking a question and you're connecting. Now with someone who you're probably in the warmer market with, or maybe it's a close friend, you're gonna talk to them a bit differently, right? So you're gonna say something like, hey Tammy, how was your weekend? I saw you and the family went camping. Let them know you're watching their page, you care about what they're up to. How fun. I'm not sure if you've seen me posting about the health products I've been taking for a couple of years now, but I would love to share with you how they might be a good fit for you too. If I sent you the scoop, would you check it out? So that simple. Again, connecting, letting them know you care about them, and ending in a question, because that's going to increase your level of engagement. So first, you're going to reach out, and then, yes, we're going to go ahead, you guessed it, we're going to follow up. We know that the fortune is in the follow-up when it comes to this business. And a lot of times, y'all, it just takes continuing to plant those seeds, connect with them, and you're going to vary what you're messaging them about. So it's not always going to be asking them, hey, are you ready to jump in with me? It's, hey, I saw this testimony. It made me think of you. Hey, we have this event Thursday night. Will you jump on with me? Just different things you can do to continue to plant the seeds. And go ahead, be consistent and bold. Tell them exactly what Plexus is going to do for them. We know that it usually takes between 8 and 12 follow-ups before someone is willing to jump in with you. And that's completely okay. So it just varies person to person, but we know that the fortune is in the follow-up. So don't stop following up with people. And so here I shared 2 more templates. Basically, it's the same format that I just shared before. You're going to reach out to them, ask them a good question about what they've been up to, and then you can say something like, I know the last time we chatted back and forth, it wasn't the best timing, but curious to know if now might be a better time to hear more about Plexus and how the products might benefit you too. Just something very simple. Or you could say something like, hey, I know we haven't had the chance to connect lately. Go ahead, let them off the hook. It's okay that they haven't responded. And then say, I'm just curious to know if you'd be open to hearing more about what I've been doing to have more energy and feel great overall. If I sent you a short video, would you check it out? So again, ending in some sort of question. So basically, we're going to follow up until we get good responses. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to close the deal. Now, here's the kicker. If you are going through all those steps, you're building the rapport, you're reaching out initially, you're following up, and then you don't close the deal, your team is not going to grow, first of all. And that person is left hanging saying, what am I going to do? I thought I was going to do these Plexus products, right? So it's really important, and don't expect your people to come back to you asking you, okay, how do I get started? They're waiting for you to be the expert and to say, hey, this is how we're going to get started. Are you ready? Really asking them to go ahead and commit, right? And sometimes there's people who are going to slow your funnel. They're going to maybe give you crickets. And it's okay to reach out and say, hey, I'm curious to know what's holding you back. A question like that is a great way to close, because then you know exactly what's holding them back. And you can handle that objection, right? So I love using that one. I love also jumping on the phone. If I know we've been back and forth and they're ready to jump in, but maybe just, maybe they have more questions, whatever it is, jump on the phone with them. That's another really great way to just share again, hey, confidently share, this is what Plexus is going to do for you, right? And then that way, people are going to allow you to navigate what Plexus is going to do for them. And again, you just have to be bold and confident. They really are looking for you to be the expert, for you to go ahead and close and seal the deal and to get them on your team. And so again, there's a message example that I shared. First, connecting with them, letting them know you care, and then sharing, I've had better sleep and energy because of these products. Is there something specifically holding you back? That question is an excellent question to ask if you feel like you just can't close with them. And then basically, y'all, when they say, yes, I'm ready to get started, you have first of all, you've created a following, you've gotten that following to follow you, and then you bridge that gap and you've helped them to become an ambassador and to start this journey with you.
April, that was amazing. We love this training, and it's fun to see all the comments in the chat of people just commenting of all these great tips. There's so many good nuggets in here as to just starting from laying a solid foundation with setting up your social media profile and going with what it is you want it to look like, to interacting and building relationships and nurturing those relationships, and then the steps to help bridge the gap to become an ambassador. Love this. Thank you. And we will take a few questions. We saw a few in the chat.
Sure.
One that we saw was, is there a good time or the best time to go ahead and post about Plexus? Like, is there ever a right time of day for that?
That is a really good question. So what I have found is if you vary it, you're going to get different audiences. So let's say you're only posting at 7 a.m. every single morning. Well, you're only getting the people who check their Facebook or Instagram at 7 a.m. But if you say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to post around 8 a.m., Plexus post, the rest of the day is going to be adding value. And then if, the next day you're like, okay, I'm going to take lunchtime and now I'm going to post about Plexus. And then the next night or the next day you're going to do it at night. Just try to vary it because you're going to get different audiences. You just don't know who's going to look at their Facebook or Instagram when.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Do you do the same for live videos as well? Is it you vary when you post?
I do. Live videos are a little bit trickier with my sons because I do like to give my people my attention. So a lot of times I'll base it off of my kids. If they're good to go, I'm jumping on a live. I do try to plan ahead of time what lives I'm going to share about, so I kind of have something in mind so I can show up consistently. But I would, if you can vary the times you're going live, I think that's a great idea.
That's a good point, though. It would depend on your schedule because, yeah, you actually have to be present. You can't really schedule those out. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Also, do you post the same thing to your story as you would on your newsfeed?
That's a great question. So sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. What I'm finding is if I'm sharing a recipe with people, a lot of times I make them do a bit of work. If I'm going to be kind and I'm going to share a recipe, well, guess what? I'm going to say, hey, I just made this dinner. It's super easy and fast. All you moms need it. So I'm going to sell it a bit. And I'm going to say, go ahead and check out my stories for the recipe. And guess what? They're going to be exposed to Plexus and my recipes. So it just really depends. Sometimes I'll do the same. Sometimes I'll do differently. Like yesterday, we went to the museum. So I posted some videos in with my stories. And then later on, I did a little bit of thinking about what just happened. What did we experience, tapping into the emotions and more so writing about it. So I would say sometimes I do different content, sometimes I do the same.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And just, yeah, again, it just varies and again, depends on the time of day and your audience and just, yeah, seeing how that goes. That's a really good idea. Also, let's see, do you use voice messages as far as when you reach out? Is that something you commonly do or recommend, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so usually the initial message I won't voice to them because it's a bit longer and it's kind of structured. But then usually after that, I want them to know I'm a person. I want them to hear my excitement. So I do a lot of voice messages, but I actually got feedback this week from someone who we were having a hard time connecting and, just being in contact with one another. We were doing a lot of phone tag with Facebook Messenger. And she had said to me, she said, wow, when you write it out versus when you send me voice messages, it's so much easier for me because a lot of times I'll listen to your messages and I'll say, oh, I'll respond to her later and I forget. So when she sent me that feedback, I kind of thought about it and analyzed it a bit. And so I need to do a little bit more because I'll do a lot of voicing. It's just easier if I'm driving or whatever it might be. But I'm going to try to do maybe like 50-50. So anyone who's, quickly checking their phone at work, they can quickly read it versus listen to it.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And oftentimes if someone doesn't reply either through a voice message or by it being typed out, that's a good idea to even just vary. Go ahead and send them a voice message or whatever it may be to see. Yeah, because a lot of times we forget. We are very busy people and we just forget to respond. So that's a really good point. I love that. Okay, let's see. Yes, Karen, this is recorded, so you will be able to share it with your team. It will go out in a Zoom email tomorrow, as well as in our Train Me text. and also be available in our support calendar that's in your virtual office. So, but April, this again, that is an amazing, amazing topic, an amazing call. You presented this so well and so clearly. And thank you again for taking the time to be with us. We sure appreciate you. And everyone, just before you leave, we do have a wrap-up poll. If you can just take a moment to answer those 3 questions.
Okay, I'm going from memory here. I think that was basically all they covered in that call. I don't think we've missed anything by skipping. Let's see. I'd like to know in the comment section what your favorite takeaway was from what we just listened to. As I'm moving on, and I'll bounce. I was thinking how funny. That's basically what we do every call, is I bounce between the comments and what I really need to be talking about, right? Okay. I got to find where I put my notes. I think I put it in a folder. I did. I've been doing some follow-up myself. Okay. So if you've been participating consistently in the social media challenge, you've probably learned more about consistency than you learned about anything else. Because what I have seen happen is people start 3 years ago with Plexus and went silver this week. Or I've seen that happen like over and over, or create new silvers within their team. So to go silver, that means sponsoring 3 people, and they are qualified all within the same month. So it's interesting to me because I have people who have been on my team and even participate in the butterfly page, my team page, and they consistently participate in there, but their social media presence has not been consistent. Adding stories in has been huge for people. I just now got the post that I'll actually get ready for tonight, so that'll be your tomorrow challenge. I decided to do the social media challenge for another week simply because I was like, 1 week of consistency was like for people. What would 2 weeks be? Because then it's cumulative. Everything you did last week, you're following up on, and everything that you're posting about this week. That, my friends, what is the movie where they go? Write that down. Oh, no, I just now remember what movie it was. Never mind. It's a tacky movie. I shouldn't suggest it, but it's a movie I watched a long time ago. But anyway, that, my friends, is how you create a funnel. If you don't know what a funnel is, it's where you're constantly tossing stuff in a funnel. So the top of the funnel looks like this, and the funnel comes down like this. And so basically, sowing and reaping, right? You're constantly reaching out, you're constantly planting seeds, and you create a funnel effect to where you always have people to talk to by being consistent on your social media presence, staying consistent on your products. I created a video earlier today and posted it in a couple of my, like my team page and someone else's team page. And for whatever reason, it's about this topic. It didn't seem to post. I'm looking now to see. Oh, it's posted now. It was promoting tonight's call as well, and now it's posted. So, what do you know? But anyway, maybe somebody will watch that video and get some pointers from that as well. I'm going to really quick bump over to the comments because I see some questions. Okay. Yeah, I find myself on the point of voice messages. I find myself voice messages, people can hear tone. So if there's a question, like as you type it out and you read it back to yourself, if you think they might misunderstand my tone, those are the ones that I say voice message those. The ones where I've noticed that sometimes when someone starts a voice message, by the time I'm to the end of it, I forgot what they said at the beginning of it, especially if it's 3 or 4 messages long. And that puts me in a place to where it'd be nice to be able to skim and hit, the bullet points. So that's also very relevant, being able to skim and hit the bullet points. Okay. So rule of thumb about 12 follow-ups. I created the Beauty Inside and Out group so that you don't have to yourself necessarily consider that you have to do 12 follow-ups with someone before they're ready, because that's a drip group, so that it's basically 12 exposures. It doesn't necessarily have to be. I like to do anything I can, just be honest with you. I try to do anything and everything I can to close that gap between first exposure and actual enrollment by drip groups, creative follow-up, so that it doesn't have to be 12 follow-ups. There are lots of ways to actually narrow that gap. And literally my secret weapon has been streamlining the way I invite. And I'm going to share it in this video because in case somebody didn't watch last week, the way I invite is by saying, I wanted to tag you in something I read that made me think of you. They say, okay. I invite them to the group, send them the link to the group, and I say, okay, you'll have to click to join here. And then I go tag them in it, and then they're in the group. It's the easiest, most way. I don't know why I didn't think of it in the beginning, but it works. It's authentic. It gets them in there, and they're already reading right off the bat, looking at information and reading. It needs to be truthful. You need to really actually have something to tag them in that really did make you think of them and all that. But that happens to me all the time. I see somebody's testimony and I think, oh my gosh, that makes me think of my friend from high school. It makes me think of my friend whose son has eczema. That makes me think of whatever. Okay. Yes. Love it. Okay. All right. I think it's brilliant. Someone said saving the social media challenge posts to reuse them. Highly encourage that. You could even tweak them a little bit and use them in the next month or so. Okay, so April, I'm responding to your question whether you can pull stuff from the butterfly group or the Beauty Inside and Out group. You can pull from, if you're posting on your own wall, you have to be careful pulling from any groups that are private, because there could be stuff in the private groups that we shouldn't share publicly. So disease names and that type of thing. We try to keep our private groups private. You can share it privately in a private message. Sometimes you can share testimonies. If you ever have a question, reach out to Missy or myself, and we may be able to help you figure out something if there's something you want to share. And you can eliminate, I lots of times will say the products that I use, or what I do for a living, or my business model, or lots of things, simply to keep the Facebook algorithm from trying to shut me down from using the word plexus. Okay. I agree. Kaylee said drip groups are the bomb. Just keep in contact with them because they can read a testimony and forget to touch base. probably the number one thing that I wasn't doing well that I have changed up and it has made all the difference is consistent follow-up. And the reason I finally convinced myself, the reason I have determined that I need to be better at that is because of how busy I am myself and how often I get behind in social media and read something at a stoplight and then don't ever even think about it again. It's wild how much overstimulation we have in our lives, and I give everyone the benefit of the doubt that they also are going through that. So I keep a list of the people I am supposed to be following up with, and I have become way more consistent at that, and I am enrolling way more people now than I have been in the last 4 years. Honestly, it's all about, when I say consistency, if you're one of those people who, when I say consistency, I might as well have said accountability partner or something where you go, I don't want to be accountable. Well, just be accountable to yourself. Consistency looks like something different to everyone because it depends on what level you're working at. If you are wanting to make an extra $500 a month consistent income, then you're going to be working at a lower level than if you want to be a lower level of consistency than if you want to be a diamond ambassador someday. So I guess that's really what you factor in, because I used to say it like this: treat it like a hobby. If you want hobby money, treat it more like a job if you want to have life-changing income. And there's no wrong way. However you decide to do it, in my opinion, is the right way as far as how much you want to make. Sometimes when you hit hard for 2 weeks with consistency, the momentum causes enough excitement that you're like, oh yeah, I'm keeping this up. This is too exciting. Another thing about, there's a call I did a long time ago, talking about action and motivation. And we always think, you look at a mess, maybe a pile on your desk or something that has just stacked up on you, and you think, one of these days in the next few weeks, when I'm motivated, I'm going to get my rear in there and I'm going to clean that desk and what. But here's the truth. Human nature lies to you when it tells you that you're eventually going to be motivated. Motivation happens. There's an old book I read a long time ago called, I think it was called Kitchen Sink Reflections or Sink Reflections or something like that. And somebody gave me this book, and you'll understand why when I tell you what the book was about. It was a lady who said she was a clutter person, and she learned how to get herself out of cluttered messes. And what she did was, she's like, I started with my kitchen sink, and she's like, there were dishes everywhere, there were appliances everywhere, there were skillets and stuff everywhere. But the first thing I did was clean, like literally Comet clean or bleach clean or whatever, the kitchen sink and make it sparkle. And she said, might take 5 minutes, might take 20 minutes. Depends on what all's in that sink when you start. She said, but when you step back and look at it, you go, oh yeah, it's on now. Because it's like you get that one, that is what always causes the motivation, is the satisfaction of the action. The satisfaction of the action causes the motivation. I just made that up, but that's true. The satisfaction of looking and going, that sink is sparkling. If somebody lays a cereal bowl in there, they're going to get their butt kicked. So then you're like, okay, I need to make the whole kitchen look like a butt kicking kitchen. Like, don't you come in here and lay your stuff on the horizontal surfaces, right? Maybe you have an entryway or something. Same way, it works exactly the same way with your business, where you post consistently for 1 week and it's a sparkling kitchen sink, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many bites. I sent out so many samples. When you send out those samples and you don't follow up, guess how many people are going to message you? Few. You have to message them. That's why I did the little video, the time-lapse video. Malia recorded it for me. I did a time-lapse video of me taking Dollar Tree thank you notes, or they're not thank you, they're just blank notes that look like the little thank you notes that like come 8 for $1. Had a cute picture on the front. Write something clever inside it. put it in an envelope, write their name pretty on the outside, and then I took a little, they had little binder clips that had little, what are those, beachcomber bicycles? The little binder clips looked like little bicycles, and I stuck a sample on top of the envelope with their name, and I put a little butterfly sticker, stuck it in a padded envelope. When they get something like that, they anticipate that you're going to follow up, because girl, you didn't spend your money on the slim, your money on the postage, your money on the thank you note, your money on the, and it wasn't that much. I mean, I'm saying your money. It wasn't that much, because here's the way I do math. For those of you who are stuck, I used to be stuck in this like poverty lock, to where it was like, every dime I make in this business, I need to spend on my bills. What I did was, one day I decided, I'm going to take the first customer or ambassador, but let's take a preferred customer, okay? Because that is residual income every month that you're getting paid as long as that person is ordering their triplex, okay? So I'm going to take the amount that it took to get one preferred customer, and I'm going to literally use that same money every month from the very first customer I got from doing this. Like initially, you might spend your own money, right? Like it wasn't Plexus money. Maybe. You get one customer, and every month that $30, $50, whatever it is, you're going to apply back to samples, supplies, whatever, because that first customer is going to buy you a lot more customers. You just have to factor that into your budget. Don't limit yourself by, it's okay, every stick of Slim cost me $2 and some change. And then the thank you notes were $1 for 8. And then you're like, Every month, just be like, my first customer bought me all these other customers, bought me two new teammates this month. I got new business building bonuses this month because of the original customer. Every month, you're getting paid for that customer, right? Every month, take that money, apply it toward your business, sending out samples. And here's the other thing about sending out samples. You spend your money on it, you will follow up. You send it out in something cute like that, they will try it, because you know why? You're going to ask them if they did. It's not going to just roll around in the back seat of their car like free stuff does sometimes. You're going to be like, hey, what'd you think of it? Did you try it this morning? Did you feel energized? Do you like the way it tasted? Whatever. Also, you may be asking yourself, this is something I used to ask myself, one stick of Slim doesn't really do. I mean, they wouldn't know for sure if it did something or not. Now, they might, but they might not. So you may be asking yourself, what does that do? And so if someone's saying, what should I expect? Well, what you're really doing, since we're going to try, Plexus ultimately is designed to give you your life back quicker than what you destroyed it, but it won't be immediate. Like, this is balancing. You're balancing out hormones. You're balancing out your immune function. You're balancing your microbiome, however you want to say it. It takes a little time to do that. So really, one stick of Slim is going to tell you, yep, I like or can tolerate the flavor. And it's simple. See how simple it is to add this into your regimen. Once you've seen the simplicity of adding it into your regimen, you can determine whether this is easier than, say, doing keto for 6 months. Or something else that they've tried that they didn't like. See if adding a Slim packet in a water bottle every day is a better option than injecting yourself with pregnancy hormones, because that's the links that some people will go to lose weight. So I'm just giving you some options. Okay, Erin said she's been reusing posts from her memories and tweaking them. I used to do this all the time. I think that's brilliant, because, I mean, people don't remember, and you're tweaking it. Even the truth is, you could use it from memories from not that long ago, because the same people often don't see it. Okay. Also, I'm going to flip something that you said, Kaylee, because I've been working on this. I'm going to practice this, and I'm going to let you kind of like observe. Follow-up is so difficult to be disciplined in. I'm reading what Kaylee said. You don't want to bother someone, but at the same time, they're also forgetting to touch base with you, which is true. Which has been true. I should say it like this. I'm going to say it like this because I'm practicing this right now. I'm practicing gratitude and watching my words. I read a thing the other day that literally said that your words are the reason they call it spelling is because your words are casting spells one way or the other. Yeah, that's the reason they call it spelling, because words are either blessings or curses. Every word. Yeah, Becky's going to remember that because I see her face. Right? So when you're saying, for example, I'm just teaching here. I'm using someone who I don't know how good natured they are. Kaylee, I hope you're good natured, because this is something I would have said last week maybe. Follow-up is so difficult. So instead I would say, I'm getting better at follow-up every day. Right? I'm learning discipline tactics that help me. And see, she's already said that she's bought a book, she's working on it, all this stuff. But the word and the spell she wants to cast, I'm not going to call it a spell because it's not witchcraft, but when you are cursing yourself, it is. And I don't mean cursing as in saying poop or any other word that looks like poop. I'm talking about literally spinning a curse on yourself by saying, oh, this is probably going to happen, and all the Murphy's Law, toast always lands buttered side down, all that kind of stuff. If it's going to happen, it happens to, no. We're going to say follow-up is becoming easier because I'm gaining some skills. I bought this book, like she said, right? Follow-ups, the interest, the question. She found a book, a record book off Amazon. Very, very good, very smart. People are here's another thing. She's being honest here. I get this, so I hope she doesn't feel picked on. It was just a prime time to say. So you don't want to bother someone, but at the same time, they are forgetting. So I'm going to say, people love it when I follow up. It helps them to remember. It helps them to remember to try the sample. I am one of those people who appreciate follow-up. If it's from someone that is sincere, I always appreciate follow-up. So, yes, The Fly Lady, Finally Loving Yourself is what her book is. FLY. Action, satisfaction. Yep. Someone said the challenging part with follow-up can be trying to figure out how often. I would say that you get better at understanding the how often the more you try it. Clever ways of reaching out and following up. I'm always posting when I see a clever way, and in the social media group, I added a whole string of possible clever ways to reach out and follow up. I think I did that last night or yesterday sometime. So that would be a place that you could go and build upon. You could build upon that, what I shared in there yesterday. Yes. Yep, very good. Okay, so, Graciela said, what if they throw them away? Okay, I ask people questions before I send them a sample. If they ask that they wanted a sample, I will say, if this has happened to me, first of all, I just break that off of you right now because I don't know, that shouldn't be happening. But if it's happened to you before, I would say, all right, girl, I'm going to put this in the mail to you. You're probably going to get it on Thursday. Friday, I'm going to ask you what it tastes like if you liked it. I'm going to lead with the fact that they are going to expect to hear back from me. All right. Hey, Kaylee, remind me there was something else that I read that same day that was about spelling is called spells, and the other one was why grammar is called grammar, and I can't remember it right now. I think my friend who sent that to me might be on this call tonight. If she is, could you re-up that for me and send it back out? If you remember where it came from. Okay. Okay. Follow-up is easy. I love it. I had to stop myself in mid-sentence to pray this morning. Yes. Okay, I'm almost to the bottom of these. I will ask them sometimes, would it be okay if I check back with you in a few days or a week or whatever? Did you know that I listened to a call from Celeste Gwynn before I even really knew who she was? I knew that she was rocking and rolling the business, and I had even seen her at a function, but, you know, she wasn't a household name yet. You know, like everybody kind of knows who she is if they've been around Plexus for very long. I don't feel like you need to know who she is or whatever. You're not missing out on some grand thing. But here's what you need to know that I learned from her. What you need to, or what she said was, in her call, she said, she asks for the sale, for the whatever, right off the bat. Hey girl, you ready to get started? And if they say no, then she says, give me permission to come back in a month and show you my check. Or give me permission to come back in a month and ask you again. And they say, okay. And she's like, okay. She writes them down. And I mean, she shot straight to diamond because she was pursuity. Just hear me use that word, Amber. Pursuity. She was pursuity. She was on it. She was not letting anybody off the hook just because whatever. It's like until they she's like, if I had a foot in the door, I was coming back in a month. And she's like, sometimes I was like, I made this much this month. Do you want to try our slim down challenge? Or just wanted to tell you I lost 5 pounds last month. Did you want to join our slim down? Remember when I asked you if I could join? This is me circling back around. You got to be fun and clever, right? Okay. Here we go.
I wanted to say the thing, what that does, it's not, I feel like, maybe like Kaylee was saying, that it's just like, oh, I don't want to be pushy or whatever it is. Okay. But if I say, like I said to the girl that during the call that I was messaging, and I said, she goes, oh, I'm still trying to work out my finances. And I'm like, okay. So I talked to her about the 2 or 3 people to join her, do it together, blah, blah. And she says, well, I'm still trying to work out my finances. And I said, okay. I said, would it be okay if I check back with you and in a few days or a week? And she says, check back before the end of the month. Now I have permission from her. It takes the heat off of me.
Yep.
I don't feel like I'm pressuring her because she told me to.
I just found, my friend sent me the thing, and then I also looked up the thing about spells and grammar. If words are code and can literally affect matter, which when we pray, that's what we hope for and anticipate, isn't it? Like that our words will shift our health, that our words will shift our finances and cause something physical to happen. So we know this. So if words are code and can literally affect matter, I think one of the first things we should do is free ourselves and to think of our words as important. We should talk less and not just mindlessly spit them out. We should stop speaking negatively altogether. Language creates reality. Words have power. Speak always to create joy. Then he said we spell words because they are spells. And the word grammar comes from the word Grimoire, which I would say is grimoire. I don't know. Which is, I looked it up, a book of magic spells and invocations. So when you're thinking about words, are you blessing, which would be spells? Are you cursing, which would be spells? Or are you blessing? What you're saying, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have spent some really focused time devoted to, and have even put myself subject to the criticism by asking my husband to keep me, and we do this for each other, keep us on track, keep me on track. If you hear me say something that I am this or I struggle with, it's just that stop me and correct me. And I will tell you, yeah, we've had a few fights because sometimes I'm in the heated rage and I just want to say the thing I want to say. And he's like, are you wanting to say that? Or you really want to say that? And the more I really get good at it, because I've done it to him too, the better I get at it, the more I realize whether you want to call it casting spells or not, I have formed my reality. I can look to my right and go, yep, I probably formed that convention badge that says diamond. I can look to my left and go, ooh, I probably also formed the fact that the wall is not painted in here because I can't find a good enough painter. Nope, there are no good painters around here. I can probably look to my left and be like, the reason that is the way it is because of something I cursed. And if you don't trust what I'm saying, look at scripture. Life and death is in the tongue. Life and death, life and death, life and death. So if life and death is coming here, you tell me whether it's blessing or cursing. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think it's interesting. I never knew that the word spelling had to do with the fact that you're writing out or orating words. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Family member. Oh, yeah. Girl. She said she has a family member who is terrified of Plexus. She won't take it. Would it be appropriate to ask for it back? I'm not sure how they ended up with it in the first place, but since they did, she said, I don't have any active and about to be out of Vitalium. It's just kind of collecting dust. I would say, hey, I know that you don't plan on taking that. I suppose you're okay. If I take it, I like live by it. It's like, it's life syrup to me. It's the way I get through the day. You know
I
what I'm
gave it's my sister. I gave it to her when I first started because I'm like, this is working for me, and she was having a lot of panic attacks, and I'm like, take this, it's going to help you, and she's just terrified of it.
That's
So
okay. And you know, especially knowing that it's your sister, and I understand the whole, like, you want desperately for other people to have what you're having. Sometimes they have to see it first. Like, and I'm not saying that she can't see it on you yet. I'm saying it hadn't hit yet with her. And asking for it back may be a key to that, honestly, because asking for it back shows that how much you value it. And so, no, I don't think it's rude at all. I think it's rude to take something that you're not going to take something from someone that you're not going to take. And so, and be neutral about it. Be kind and neutral and just be like, hey, I don't want to upset you at all. I hope you don't think I'm upset with you, but I love that stuff. It's like life juice to me. And if you're okay with it, I'm going to take it back because I will use it. She'll probably be fine with that. I don't know your sister though. So.
yeah, I think she'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about it a couple of days.
That's good.
I really need some active. But thank you.
I have one last thing that I felt like I was supposed to touch on. Oh, yeah. Actually, consistency and gratitude was pretty much the topic of this call tonight. Consistency, gratitude, and flipping a narrative. Because I'm just going to tell you, I don't know where along the way, maybe it's stories about princesses locked in a castle and someone comes to rescue you. For girls, I'm talking about girls. We grow up to be women, and there is some sort of delight in the idea that someone will come and rescue you. But I'm talking about in this physical, earthly realm, and I'm not talking about actual salvation. In that way, we can count on someone rescuing us, right? But I'm talking about a prison of poverty or unlocking you from a health problem. If it's not happening supernaturally, which happens to be the case a lot for people. I love Krista Deary's story about this. Sometimes you save yourself. Sometimes you're the one that rides in on the horse. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I just got weird chills. And sometimes it's not sometimes, almost always. Even in the aspect of religion, you're the one that has to make the choice. You're the one that has to make the move. It's there if you collect on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that was already paid for me and I came to collect. Okay? Understanding that concept flips the way you look at things. And if you realize that sometimes the mess you're in, you caused with your own mouth. You manifested things you didn't mean to, or you could be one of those people who manifest bad things with your mouth because you're always like, I mean, who knows, right? But the thing is, I've worked with, I would say now, personally worked with hundreds of people. I've counseled through video and answering questions, thousands of people through their health problems, through their marriage problems. Didn't ask for that, but that's how it happened. Through their marriage problems, through their financial problems, through their whatever. And almost always it goes back to what they say and what they think, what they believe. Not always. There are certain circumstances where that's not true. I get that. But for the most part, what they believe, what they say is what they are experiencing. I used to would have said it can be difficult to break out of that. I don't even say that. I say it takes discipline in the beginning until you see the fruit of the discipline of not trash talking yourself, not trash talking your efforts, not trash talking your spouse, not trash talking your kids. He's so disrespectful, and you will watch it continue to flourish. If you think that it will change while you talk about it, like what you're seeing in the natural, like I see it in the natural, I just call it like I see it. I have heard that out of so many people, and I'm like, call it like God sees it. Call it something else, or don't call it at all. Shut your mouth, especially when we're talking about lives hanging in the balance. We have people, you can't start the next chapter in your life if you keep rereading the last one. I like that. Woo. Yeah. So to me, it's the most important thing a person can learn that's outside of what you should be learning in church. And the truth is, you should be learning this in church. This is church. I'm not saying this, what we're doing right now. I'm saying what I'm talking about right now is the life and death is in the tongue. And if you're walking around poo-pooing on your life with your mouth, I want you to picture yourself squatting and taking a poop on it. All right? Visual, right? Great visuals. So, I'm going to close this with prayer, and I'm going to thank God in advance, because I believe, and I've been told, well, you have the gift of faith. The reason you have whatever, I don't know. God's never specifically told me, girl, you have the gift of faith. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I have practiced it enough, faith, that it looks like a gift now, or maybe I was born this way. Either way, I have enough faith to believe that every single person on this call could be a jewel ambassador, have their lives completely changed. We went through a weird season for the last 3 years was a weird season with the company, because for those of you who weren't around, we had weird computer problems for a while in our back office. And then we switched some stuff up. And when we switched some stuff up, we started having credit cards get double charged. This is all ancient history. But I'm sharing this because during that season, I found myself. Have you ever seen a kid on a sugar high and then they're finished and then they literally start running in a circle? And then they crash on the ground. Okay. That is how I felt for a while. And it was, here's the thing. I became so much of a better leader in this last season. I had used the ease of the way Plexus Business worked as a crutch for years. And then when it got like, I don't have any control over the credit cards. I don't know what to do. During that season where it's all good now, but during that season, it took my leadership skills and I had to literally, what they say, like something about your leadership lid, right? I had to get better at leadership because I had people looking to me. And I will tell you, I believe that if you went through this season and you weren't already a leader, it was for your growth to be a leader now. I truly believe that anybody who stuck around through nonsense, I'll just call it that, anybody who stuck around through that, because I'm going to tell you the products keep people around. You're probably like, well, I mean, it's not like I'm ever going to quit taking the triplex. I'm just saying. Now we're in a season to where all the growth gets to pay off. All the stick-to-itiveness, all the, I'm not going anywhere. God didn't tell me to leave and do something else. I'm here. I'm staying. And now you go, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I see people being like, oh, remember when my friend left and went and did this one thing? And I said, you're going to regret it. I was right. They're regretting it. I'm so glad I stayed. God didn't say go. I stayed. And now we're getting to harvest the corn, the seeds that were planted. And some of those seeds were for your own leadership, right? So that you can go, okay, I know how to handle these situations. This is a breeze. Like somebody's shipping label didn't get created or something. You're like, that ain't nothing. You're not having to say that to people, but it ain't, right? You go, oh, that ain't nothing, right? I've done this. I don't have to even hit a panic button anymore, right? I don't have to hit a panic button because I used to, when I was new with Plexus, something would happen, people would send me something, because it's just the nature of working with people, that people are going to send you things that you go, oh no. And I'd open it and I'd read it to Jetty and I'd be like, what are you going to do? And those exact same things, if they happen to now, I'm liable to just go eat dinner and figure it out, and something will come to me like, it doesn't even register. It doesn't even make me have a heart palpitation. It doesn't even make me take a funny breath. I'm like, ha, good one. That's nothing. Nothing. So, felt like I should share that. Normally I wouldn't share that, but I felt like I was supposed to, because there are so many of you who were so consistent and hung around for so long when things were like, what is going on? We have to get this, right? When things are out of your control, this is what I finally resolved myself to. When things are happening that are sort of your fault, like maybe you've manifested it with your ugly mouth, or, saying all the things. Maybe you've done that and you go, oh, that's my fault. But then you go, that's not my fault. And if it's not your fault, you're like, I have no control over this. There's only one place that you can find control, and that is literally this kind of power, right? Took a lot of this kind of power. I'm talking about has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That kind of power. All right. For real. Now I'm closing this out. Now for my second close. That was the soft close. All right. Tonight I want you to think of one thing one thing in your life. It doesn't have to be plexus related. If it is plexus related, all the more. That's great. But I would love for you to imagine one thing in your life that is not currently the way that you believe it's supposed to be, even if time has told you different, like it's maybe this just is how it is. And I'm talking, this can be anything. This could be your marriage, this could be your financial situation, this could be a relationship with a sister-in-law, whatever it is. And I want you to use the incubator. I believe that God puts an incubator in this. I don't know what it's really called. It's easy for me to visualize as an incubator because it's a hatcher. It's a hatcher. And I want you to, while the entire time I pray, I want you to visualize the answer you should have gotten if you went to the doctor. I want you to visualize the paycheck and what you would do with it. Like immediately you open your email and you go, this is what my hard work did. Maybe you owe a lot of money on a credit card or a mortgage. I want you to visualize a victory lap around the neighborhood, screaming at the top of your lungs because your house got paid off. I'm going to cry. Like quarantine, schmorantine, I'm debt free, right? Everybody's getting laid off. Hospitals are empty. What the heck is this virus? I don't know. But hey, I'm doing a victory lap around my neighborhood because I am debt free, right? I want you to visualize a celebration that you would have if your significant other walked in the door after 15 years of romance, like Sir sucks a lot at romance, okay, like not so great at romance, right? Walked in the door and said, you know what? I'm sorry that I've neglected what I've neglected, and has roses and says, can we just go somewhere for the weekend? I want to reconnect. Ah! Can you incubate that? Because life has probably told you to incubate something else. I believe with all my heart that God wants to use your incubator tonight, your headspace. I used to have this acrylic picture frame that was a shadow box. And it was probably made to put like ticket stubs and stuff in, like memories. This is before there were fancy, nice Hobby Lobby shadow boxes. This was when I was a kid. It was just an acrylic box that hung on the wall, and I put stuff in it. And the first time I ever talked about this topic, I got that visual of, like, let's say if there was like sewage in your shadow box, right? And you're just dropping memories in there, and you're just like talking trash on it. And then you add a cigarette butt, and then it's what, like whatever. I don't know what you think is going to grow in that environment. Probably not anything you're interested in. But you know those phone cases that make it look like there's glitter inside your phone? Looks almost like a snow globe. Kind of looks like the back. Mine's not like that, but you do like this and it moves around. It looks like that. Okay. I want you to imagine a box that's filled with memories, ticket stubs, conventions of days gone by, maybe your lanyards, whatever, right? Stuff. And that front layer, I want you to imagine that the front layer of this box is filled with glitter. I want you to just swish it around. This is inside your brain, right? Or maybe there's something more beautiful to you than glitter. Maybe it's prisms, something bouncing light and color all off of it. I want you to shake it up in your mind and let the beauty surround what you might consider regret, mistakes, poor choices, whatever. a squabble you had with an in-law, whatever. I want you to shake the glitter all around it, first of all. Right now, I'm just going to ask Holy Spirit fire to fall on you right now. God, I believe with all my heart that we are blessing or cursing with our words. God, I choose to bless. God, that I just lift up gratitude for the season that we went through that made me think I was going to, and instead, God, I look at my progress from the leadership level I was at, and Lord, even I look at my faith level and how much changed in me in what I'm just going to call a winter season. Like, you know, they say, yeah, the devil tried to bury me. He didn't know I was a seed, right? I'm a seed. And I want you to visualize yourself coming up out of fertile soil into a beautiful scenario. Okay, so like I said, if it's the marriage, I want you to picture what that looks like. And it may be like you can only visualize one tiny little, like maybe laying on the couch watching a movie, maybe there's just like one tiny little image. But you know that if that was going on, then things are brighter all around you. Yeah, if I was, you know, whatever. Let's say if you were holding a certificate in the mail that said senior gold with your name on it, you know what everything else would be looking like for that to happen. But I want you to visualize that. If that was your area. If you have wondered how you ever got in this much credit card debt, I want you to picture you and your significant other roasting s'mores and cutting that credit card and throwing it in the fire because you had paid it off. I mean, like glory, glory, right? Student loan debt, completely paid. What does that look like to you? The visual, in my experience from helping hundreds of people with this, is that the visual is as important as almost anything else you're going to do toward it. Visualizing yourself there, the brain can't differentiate between what's reality and what you're visualizing, and it literally causes things to take shape and take form to create it in the physical. Right now, we're creating it in the spiritual. God, may my words be in alignment with you. May my truth be in alignment with you. May my purpose be visible and passionate. God, that you would reveal tonight, I ask that God would reveal a new area of your purpose. Hooking into your purpose, in my opinion, is the number one antidote for most depression. I believe people who figure out their purpose decide to trade. Okay? Isn't there a song that says something like that? I'm trading my sorrows. I'm trading my shame. For the joy of the Lord. Am I saying that right? Yeah. I'm giving it all. You're going to leave the memory that you put in there with all the sewer. You're going to leave that at the feet of Jesus, because that was from an old chapter. You've been planted. I declare and decree that you were planted in fertile soil and you are a good seed. You've had just the right amount of sunlight and just the right amount of rain. I break off any old word curses, any old diagnoses, We do not have agreements with word curses and diagnoses. We say no. No, I'll get my second opinion from the Lord. God, what do you say? I want you to picture something. Let's say, I'm trying to think of something visual. Let's say you had a cut on your leg. Now, if you have an actual health thing going on, I want you to visualize that instead. I want you to visualize the glory of God shining on that, and literally a time lapse of it closing up, shrinking, going to nothing. God is going to radiate his glory on you right now. Can you visualize that? And I want you to spend, if this is something that's speaking to you, I want you to, after this is over with, I want you to literally go do that for a few minutes. I want you to just turn on whole tones or worship yourself. Not worship yourself. Sing yourself in worship. Worship with your voice. That's what I mean. And while you do it, visualize closing, God's bright, bright light shining upon it until it's closed and healed, and there's not even a scar. And we don't settle for halfway there or almost. Visualize it until you can see it. I had a third grade teacher tell me one time how to get rid of a migraine. She's like, I want you to picture how big of a circle it is. And I was like, okay. And she's like, now shrink that circle. And it worked. Shrink, shrink, shrink. It took some time because I kept losing my train of thought. It felt like I was losing my train of thought. And I'm like, I can't. Okay. I want you to shrink it. Visualize it as a circle. Shrink it. God's radiant light. There's another song I'm thinking of. Into glorious light, I'm running. It's not glorious. What is it? Is it radiant? Into radiant. Somebody help a girl out. Bum, 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 da, 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 da. Oh, actually, that might be the same song I was singing a minute ago. Maybe that's what made me think of it. Anybody know what I'm talking about there? It's definitely a scripture as well. Glorious light, God's radiant light. Maybe the problem that you've had is not physical. Maybe you've had a, let's say, heart-centered or mindset-centered problem. Let God's radiant light spill. The visual I like, if you can't visualize like radiant light, have you ever stayed in a hotel with blackout curtains, right? And you decide you just want to see what's going on outside the next morning while everybody's still asleep, and you just crack that window a little bit and just like light bleaches the room? That. Now, imagine yanking those curtains all the way back and literally letting the light knock you on the bed, knocking that circle, making it smaller, and it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. A true Holy Spirit experience until it's gone. God, right now, I just speak your radiant light over our Plexus businesses, over this streamed convention that we are coming upon, God, that your radiant light of creativity would be with our speakers, creative strategies, new ideas, this shift into this new, whatever it is that we're living right now. It's new. God, we invite your radiant light into it, that it goes before us and it even comes in behind us, that it literally is us. Jesus, thank you. God, I thank you for all of the seasons that I've gone through, where I've learned so much. Even though I felt like I was being pruned and I wiggled a lot, God, right now, I change the tone of that and I say, thank you. If it weren't for that, I would have never learned the skill set that I have now to be able to even help others who are facing similar storms to what I faced once upon a time. Thank you, God. I like it. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Psalms 141:3. Lana Vowser calls it a redefinition, redefine. I opened my eyes. Look at this. I opened my eyes a minute ago. There was light in my room. Y'all remember? I don't know what happened. I guess it got dark outside and Jetty must have somebody shut this door. It's interesting because when I looked up, my eyes had been closed, and so I was expecting to see bleached. I want you to be bleached in God's radiant light. May it shine on you the way, like, look how the background's all dark, but may his radiant light bleach, set me free, set my family free, set my relationships free, set my soul free. I lift all of this up in Jesus' mighty name. I want you guys all to know before we walk into this convention stream how proud I am to call every one of you friends. I have basically the best friend set of anybody that I know. And I know we don't really get to hang out and go to lunch. Most of us, we don't live near each other. But God has truly blessed me with praying friends, loving friends, people I can link arms with and know that I can count on them. I'm excited about convention. Also, I think I'm going to call my superpower God's radiant light, right? Okay. The product that we're launching is this is my clue. It's the only clue I can give. I'm not even supposed to give this clue, but I mean, watch them stop me, right? It is something I have wanted since day one. Have never stopped wanting this. And it opens up an entirely new market, per se. Okay?
You need to bling that up with radiant light on the outside of it. Right word.
Right. Yeah. When I found out what the new product was today, got it in the mail today, did a Zoom today, and I'm not on a product board, y'all. I'm not a Jewel trainer anymore. My husband's not a board member anymore. So basically all our routes of knowing in advance are basically I cried. I was like, all those years, I was up some butts about this. We really need this. It would be really smart if we added this. This would be brilliant to add this. Just saying. Yeah. And I love the fact that they're using masks in the marketing with all the mask nonsense that's going on all over, masks. I love this. When I saw it, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is brilliant. Did y'all see what I wrote? I was like, is this what they mean when they said a mask? Yeah, absolutely. You'll see more clues unroll over the next couple of days, and then you're going to learn about it Friday or Saturday. I don't know which one, but yeah. Also, the marketing on it is really brilliant. Everything about it. I feel like, and I'm not taking the credit for it here, but I have put a lot of words. So as I opened my mail and listened to the Zoom, I was like, manifested that. Yes, I did. Probably had some help. I mean, I'm probably not the only one out there who's wanted this. I can promise you. Anyway, okay. I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a great night. Thanks for hopping on here. I'm really excited about convention because of this. I mean, I was already, and now I'm really excited. God bless you all. See you next week. The Beauty Inside and Out group, don't forget, let's get people in there and get people tagged. It's going to start a 5-day countdown. 5 days before, 4 days before, 3 days before. So you'll have plenty of opportunities to be like, this is what I was talking about. You know, you get somebody new in there and catch them on day 2 before. This is it. This is what I've been talking about. There's going to be posts that are going to be leading up to it. I've got it all set, most of it all set. I've got to go add in the last few days of it, but I've been working on it. So it's going to be very good for consistency. It's going to be very good for learning about the products and just keeping people engaged and excited. The more that we are engaged and excited in the group, the better the group will go. So trust me with your friends. I promise to be nice to them. Get them in our group. Let's get this going. Good night, everybody.